Hey everybody, Tanya from Shooting Star SVG back here, and today I am going to go through lesson 3 of our passive income bootcamp, which is goal setting. Previously we have talked about branding and choosing our market, and now we want to talk about goal setting. And this is very important because if you do not have any goals, you don't have anything to work towards. So before I get started, please go ahead and click like and subscribe below. That way you can get updates to any new videos that I may release. I don't necessarily go through just these passive bootcamp lessons, but have different design tutorials as well as business tips and tricks. And if you subscribe, you'll get those right on your notifications through YouTube. So go ahead and do that now, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So for those of you who are new to business, goal setting is a very important aspect and will keep you very focused on what you need to do. It gives you a very clear vision on things that you need to work towards to keep growing, and you basically need to always constantly grow and evolve when you're setting your goals. But before we get started on goal setting, the next thing the first thing that you're going to want to do is figure out what your why is. And your why is basically a motivation that keeps you going. Okay. So this is what your reasoning is for starting this business. And because I want to make more money isn't a very good why, right? For me, my motivation really lies in the fact that I'm a single mom. I have 3 kids. I have a baby daddy who doesn't pay child support. I needed some extra income to come in to help supplement and be able to provide a better life for my kids. In conjunction with that, I also want to show them if you set your mind to something, anything is achievable. This took me a lot of time to sit down and think about, why I was doing what I was doing, in conjunction with, showing my kids that even though something isn't easy, that doesn't mean it's unattainable. I'm also showing them that hard work does pay off, because this is hard work, right? And so you really just need to sit down and reflect on what that why is. And once you get that, you can start looking at your goals, because those are going to be centered around your reasoning for starting this business. Okay. So one thing that I do want to state, and I've stated this in a lot of my other videos, is that you will not make money overnight. A lot of people think that that's the case, right? You make some designs, you throw them up on the internet, and the money's going to start rolling in. Nope. I wish it was that easy. And if it was, then everybody would be doing this, but it's not. So don't fall into the fallacy that you can upload some digital work online and the money is going to start rolling in. I see growth continually every month, and you can too, but I put as much time into it as my schedule allows me to without it being overwhelming. And by setting your goals, it will give you the ability to take a breath and relax for a few days once you reach a milestone that you've set your goal for. Okay. So, the biggest thing that you want to look at is the type of goals you're creating. And one thing that we use at work is this thing called SMART goals. And basically what that means, and you can see a big infographic on this on my blog post, is that they are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And this is really the basis for well-defined, time-constrained goals. You want to make sure that your goals are SMART because it sets a vision for you with certain restraints. And it also motivates you and grants a sense of accomplishment once you achieve those goals. So it's really critical that you use these techniques as you're going through and setting your goals. So the first thing that you want to look at is the specificity. And your goals need to be well-defined, clear, and unambiguous. You want to consider the 5 W questions: the who, what, when, where, and why. And a general goal would be, I want to make money, right? Who doesn't? A more specific goal, which is what you're trying to go for, would be, I want to make $100 in my first month of digital sales. It's very specific, okay? When you move on to the measurable part, you can take a specific goal, like we mentioned above, and you can track your progress, right? So you need a way to track them, and a good gauge would be by checking your sales a few times a week to measure your progress. Every week you know you'll need to make $25 to hit that $100 a month goal. So basically, as you're measuring what's going on, you can adjust what is happening with your store based off of other feedback, okay? The third thing is you want it to be achievable. Your goals should be attainable and not impossible to get at, right? So you need to really ask yourself if you have the resources to obtain the goal. If you don't have an open store, for example, you're not going to make $100, but you do know that if you have an open store with a good amount of products, you could easily achieve $100 in a month, right? So make sure you're set up to achieve what you're looking to do before you set your goals. You also want to make sure that they're realistic. They should be within reach and relevant to your business. If you meet the criteria of having the available resources, like we mentioned above, and an achievable goal, like we mentioned above, within a specific time frame, you're in a good place, okay? And it's something that's realistic. You definitely don't want to say, oh, I'm going to make $1,000 in my first month, because while some people have achieved that, it's not something that normally happens. So please don't let people tell you, oh, I made, $1,000 in my first month of sales, and well, usually there's more behind that story, okay? And again, you want to make sure they're timely. That's the T of the SMART. And you just really need to set a realistic time frame, okay? Once you sit down and start writing these goals out, you really need to make sure that you're hitting those SMART metrics, okay? So personally, I always stick to a lot of short-term goals. I like to start small. I'm the type of person that needs not instant gratification, but I at least need to see something tangible that's happening. You can set SMART goals for creating new listings in your shop, like you want 20 listings at the end of your first month, or creating products or you want 20 sales by the end of your first month. And then as you're going through the month, you can check and adjust. And when you mark things off, you want to make sure that you're always adding new things, okay? You basically want to set goals that are going to grow your business. And the short-term goals are nice because as you mark them off of your list, you're going to have a sense of accomplishment, and that's going to keep you motivated to keep going. At the beginning of 2019, I set some short-term goals that were about mid-year, to have 500 listings by July, have $500 consistent months, revamp my branding, start a website, and have 1,000 sales. I will tell you, when I first wrote this post, I did not achieve the 1,000 sales at that time. I did hit over 2,000 sales at the beginning of the year. So I have no idea what happened, but I sold a butt ton between October and the end of the year, and it just really skyrocketed everything. So once I hit those goals, I was able to adjust what I have and set higher goals for myself. And I always have one reach goal, which is something ridiculous. That way I am motivated to stay working, because sometimes I do get that burnt out and overwhelmed feeling, but we'll go over that when we talk about time management. And then you also have long-term goals, right? So you want these to be SMART as well. And I generally try to base these off of a year, because business growth does take time. You can check and adjust those goals every couple of months, but the biggest thing for the long-term goals is you don't want to throw the towel in. I see so many people start this up, expect to make so much money, and then after 2 or 3 months, they're done. The reality of the situation is it's a slow trot, and it depends on how much time and effort you're putting into it, right? For me, I only put in about 10 hours a week, if that, with my time constraints. So there are other people out there that can put 40 hours in a week. They're going to see quicker results depending on what they're doing, as long as they have goals that they need to work towards, basically. So to, recap, you basically want to determine what your why is for your business. This is pretty much a simple brainstorm session / self-reflection session where you can figure out why you're doing what you're doing. You want to set goals based off of your why. Ensure that your goals are SMART, as we discussed before, and totally celebrate after milestones are achieved. And then check and adjust your strategy to reach your goals and have fun doing it. Once you stop having fun, there's really no point. So that's just a high level overview of goal setting and what you can do. If you need help setting goals, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to review your goals and let you know where it might need work. If you're not specific enough, if it's just not something that's achievable, it all really is dependent and subjective based off of you and what kind of time and effort you're going to put into it. And that's all I have. So again, please go ahead and click like and subscribe below. I'm going to be posting these throughout the course of the week. And the next video is going to go over time management, which is really crucial. And then after that, we're going to start getting into some more design concentric things. So go ahead and click like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on that. You can also subscribe to the mailing list where these lessons will get blasted into your mailbox over the course of 10 lessons, and you can go from there. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I hope everybody has a killer night.